We have been working pretty hard over the last number of weeks, spending around the clock, working weekends, looking at a series of options of how do we responsibly, as was framed out by the President Pro Tem, how do we move forward? How, as we have all this pressure on the state with respect to potential budget cuts that I think was appropriately articulated by the budget chair, how do we, independently of the budget, figure out a way forward that gets people back to work as quickly as possible? Fourth quarter, as the PPP money starts to run out from small businesses, how do we engage folks? The answer here, what we have before us, that's this larger idea, is a $25 billion economic recovery fund. $25 billion. We intend to fill it up over the next 2 years. What do we do with the money? Well, it's really about putting folks back to work, about in supporting the important values of what we're about in California. What does that mean? Small businesses, not-for-profits, worker retraining relating to economic recovery, because we're going to have to do that as people have to change their jobs in the new environment. Residential and small business rental assistance, as Senator Bradford just discussed. The green economy investments, multi-year commitments to the homeless crisis that may certainly be exacerbated by this problem. School funding, which is mostly harmed by these school closures, again tied to economic recovery. So that's what we're trying to accomplish in the near term and getting money available to do that ASAP without harming the budget. Well, then you ask yourself, well, where's the money going to come from? The state would establish a voluntary tax program to incentivize prepayment of approximately $3 billion a year of income taxes, corporate and personal income taxes, for the years 2024 through 2033, 10-year event horizon. Participating taxpayers acquire a California Recovery Tax Voucher for those years at a modestly reduced amount to reflect inflation and to incentivize participation. As most know, the cost of borrowing is the least today that we've seen forever, I should say in the longest period of time, not forever, but for a long period of time, and would be the smartest time to be able to issue these tax vouchers. These California Recovery Tax Vouchers will be fully transferable, so a taxpayer could sell those tax vouchers to third parties to get cash benefits at any time. So if you decided to buy a tax voucher and you needed the money, you could sell it. If the assessment you made with respect to your taxes, you had additional tax vouchers, you could sell them. What are the trade-offs by virtue of doing this? On the one hand, California gets up to $25 billion over a 2-year period, immediate money to help put people to work. Loses about $3 billion a year between 2024 and 2033. The idea is by stabilizing the economy, baseline revenues will be higher to offset the costs in the years 2024 to 2033. The ultimate effect, of course, would enable taxpayers to invest in California to help California struggling during this very challenging crisis and to accelerate resources for better times ahead in today's downturn when revenues are more crucially needed. Bottom line is this is one of a series of ideas that the Pro Tem mentioned at the beginning, where we're trying to take a thoughtful and responsible approach toward an economic recovery with a budget that does no harm. And with that, I will turn it back to Madam Pro Tem.